Hey guys, this is Sagoshini. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber and a viewer, thank you so much for your constant support. Now, before I begin with today's video, I'm just going to give you a quick update on my channel. From today, I'm going to start a new series on my channel, the first episode of which you're going to see in just a few minutes, which is called Inside the Book. Now, what is inside the book and why am I starting it? So, inside the book are going to be episodes where I'm going to talk about a book that has had a profound impact on my life and that I feel are going to bring in positive changes in your life as well. And I am going to review this book for you in under 10 minutes so that you get a compact idea about the book. So basically, I'm not going to give out the plot of the book, but what I am going to do is just give you a basic idea about why you should read the book. Inside the book, I'm going to talk about books that are going to bring in changes, significant positive changes in your daily life and help you become a better version of yourself. So I have structured the episodes in this manner. While beginning to talk about the book, I'm going to give you a brief summary, a brief idea about the book, as I said, without giving out the major plot lines, so that you don't feel like you have gotten spoilers while if you choose to read that book yourself. Then I'm going to talk about my own perspective on the ideas that are being talked about in the book. And finally, I'm going to share some of my favorite quotes from the book and why I feel that it is going to have an impact on your life and on yourself as a human being. Okay, so this brings me to my next question, that why am I starting this series? So I'm starting this series for two reasons. Firstly, I'm doing this to encourage reading. So the person I'm going to encourage to read is me. I am going to read a book. That is going to be my goal, but I do not want to be in this journey on my own, which brings me to the second reason, you. So I am also starting this series on my channel because I always want to add some sort of a value to your life through my videos, and if you have chosen to invest your time in watching my videos, I would hope that you take something away from watching my videos, something away from investing your valuable time on my videos. So the second reason is you. I encourage you to read and join me in this journey, and trust me, it is going to make you feel better. It is going to keep your mental health all right. I'm going to find the Inside the Book episodes, two of them fortnightly. So every 2 weeks you're going to get one video from this series. I'm going to talk about a book in this episode and I'm going to ask you to read that book, and when I come back again after 2 weeks with another Inside the Book episode, then I would expect that you're going to write in the comment section about whether you could read up the last book that we discussed in the Inside the Book series. So I would really encourage you to join me in this journey, and I look forward to take this journey together. And on that note, let's begin with the very first episode of Inside the Book. Now, of course, I make other videos on my channel. You get reviews of products starting from makeup, fashion, daily use products, tech, books, food, literally anything and everything on my channel every week. And I also make vlogs, videos on topics that I feel really resonates with me, that I feel I can really relate with. So you get all of that, and along with that, now you're also going to get these book episodes. Okay, so let's put on the timer and start talking about the very first book that I have chosen for Inside the Book episode 1. Now, for the very first episode, I think I have probably chosen the most difficult book that I have listed, and it is called Happy, Why More or Less Everything is Absolutely Fine by DERREN. Now, why is it the most difficult book? Because it is a book that has 800 pages. It is an enormous book, but it is a book worth reading. Every line of this book I have highlighted because it is very, very impactful, and only choosing a few quotations has been really, really difficult. What is this book? What does this book talk about, and why I think it is important that you should know about it? This book talks about the very simple but the ever so elusive emotion called happiness. Everyone says they want to be happy. But if you are somewhere near my age, by this time you have already realized that it is much more easier said than actually done. So, Terence Brown in this book asks, what does happiness actually mean? How to be happy? And how do you know when you actually feel it? Before I talk about the really bookish part of the book, I'm going to start with a game that Brown also plays in the book. So, ready? I'm going to give you 3 anagrams. Now, if you do not know what anagrams are words, the letters of which, if you rearrange, you get another word. Okay, so let's begin. I am going to give you 3 anagrams. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to solve each anagram. Now, if you cannot solve the first anagram in 5 seconds, you move on to the second anagram immediately. Alright, so let's begin. This is your first anagram. Wait for 5 seconds. Okay, did you get it? If you did, give a tick beside the word, and if you didn't, let's move on to the second anagram. This is your second anagram. 5 seconds again. This one is really easy and I hope you got this one. If not, let's move on to the third anagram. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, up. Now you tell me, how many anagrams did you get? If you ask me how many of those I got in the first attempt, I got none of them in the first attempt. And you know why? Because the first 2 anagrams are unsolvable anagrams, which means that they cannot be solved. But the third word was actually very easy, and if you solve it, you get American. Now I'm going to give you 2 more anagrams. I'm going to give you 3 seconds each to solve it. This is the first anagram. Solved it? That was super easy, and I'm assuring you those are not unsolvable anagrams. This time I'm not tricking you. And this is the second anagram. And I'm pretty sure you got that as well. See how easy that was. Now Terence Brown uses this example and tells you that if you were a student sitting in the left row of a class taken by Charis Nixon at Penn State Area University, then you would have been given those 3 anagrams, the first set. Students on the right row in the class would have been given the other 3 anagrams. Every time one solved the anagram, they were asked to raise their hand. Now, of course, students on the left side could not raise their hands the first 2 times, while the students on the right row could raise their hands the first 2 times. But here's the thing, the students on the right row also could raise their hands when it came to the third anagram. The students on both the rows got the third anagram exactly the same. Most students on the left row could not solve the third anagram. Now, why is that? This is a phenomenon that Brown says taking from Nixon, which is called learned helplessness, which means if you fail the first 2 times, you tell yourself that, okay, I have failed in this particular task this first 2 times, so there is no way that I am going to succeed the third time, and you eventually fail in the third time as well, even though that third time it might have been an easier task than the first 2 times. Well, if you become successful the first 2 times, you easily become successful the third time by default. This is a perspective about whether you yourself can fail and succeed based on certain events that have happened in your life. And this is what Brown builds upon. He says that we are products of the stories that we tell ourselves. We are surrounded by a huge pool of data, and each day choose and eliminate certain elements from that pool, and we create our own stories to get by the day. For example, you wake up each morning, you say, okay, I'm going to have breakfast, I'm going to go work, on my way back I'm going to buy groceries, and that is going to be the end of my day. And that is the story you tell yourself, that okay, if I do all of these things quite smoothly, this day is going to be a fuss-free, happy day. These are the stories you tell yourself to go through the day. But what is the story you tell yourself every day? Brown says that the good news is, even if you have been continuously telling yourself a story of a failure, you can change your story, because at the end of the day it is your story. Now at this point it might sound that it is a cliche self-help book, And these are the things that are easily said and done, like happiness, but it is not. And which is why I recommend this book to you, because this book spans a huge spectrum. It starts with Stoicism and talks about everything like Marxism, Enlightenment, the Renaissance period, all of it, and the concept of happiness in them. This book deals with it, it problematizes it, and it convinces you that many of the things that have been told to us are guaranteed to bring us happiness are unlikely to do so. And that a key to achieving whatever this state might be, whatever the state of happiness might be, is to harness the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves. So I have written down the perspective that I got from this book, and I'm going to tell you that. Happiness is the stories we tell ourselves, our perceptions of it. They don't need to be drastically different than the apparent reality. But it is wrong to assume that difficulties and the sadness you face along it is not part of your happiness. So, for example, you think that buying a car is going to make you happy, but how do you know? You have never had a car, right? But you know that every day traveling by the public transport makes you really tired, so you feel owning a car is going to make you happy. But owning a car at the end of the day is actually going to make your life more comfortable. So, do you call the feeling of comfort happiness? Because what you feel after buying a car, can that be equated with what one person feels after having an ice cream when he or she is not allowed to have it? If both of them are happiness, which one is greater happiness? So there is nothing called ultimate happiness, right? So my perspective that I took away from this book is that you have to accept the sadness and the difficulties within you. You have to acknowledge it. They are not obstacles. They are a part of your world where you tell yourselves, this is what happiness is. Before I end the very first episode of Inside the Book with my favorite quote from the book, I'm going to tell you the chapter that you must read even if you cannot read the whole book. And this chapter is chapter number 5, which is called A Very Brief History of Happiness. It is just so amazing, and it is really a very brief history, but something I'm sure that all of you are going to enjoy so much. So I'm going to read out one single quote from this 800-page book, which I think is so profound and so impactful. So before I say that, I would hope that you hit the subscribe button and you're going to give me some book recommendations in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit the like button. It helps our channel to grow. Thank you for being a part of this community, our YouTube channel community. And let's just say that quote. That quote is, "Happiness is not our birthright. It is presented to us as something simple and straightforward, but it is imaginary and deceiving in many of its forms. That happiness is more like a chimera, and that, the moment you accept that happiness is not our birthright, things become making much more sense. They become easier to comprehend all around us. So let's just tell ourselves a better story. Let's just make our stories better, and if possible, change our stories with each day, with each page of a book. With that hope, I'm going to end today's video. Stay well, stay safe. I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye. Oh, don't forget to hit the bell icon after you have subscribed to my channel to get a notification about the next Inside the Book episode. Bye.